Today we are back recapping the most recent SUMA Convention, which was under the banner Foundation of Urban Strength. And today we are sitting down with two key provincial politicians who attended this year's convention. Welcome to Season 10 of MuniCast.
I grew up in a small town. I'm small town at heart. I moved to the city, but deep down I've not gone that far. No matter where my boots take me, I grew up in a small town and I still got one foot on Main Street.
MuniCast is brought to you by SUMA, the voice of Saskatchewan's urban municipalities. MuniCast discusses topics that are important to municipal leaders like local governance, best practices, education, and so much more. Now, in this season, conversations will dive into how municipalities can get the most value from SUMA's offerings, from building meaningful connections through networking to strengthening capacities through education, advancing local priorities through advocacy, and gaining direct access to government officials. So whether you're looking for practical insights, new perspectives, or opportunities to stay informed and connected, this season's for you. Our first interview today is with Government Relations Minister, the Honourable Eric Schmaltz. Minister, thank you so much for chatting with us today here on Season 10 of MuniCast. We are here at the SUMA Convention. How does it feel to be back with your urban counterparts from a provincial perspective?
Thanks, Chris. And yeah, absolutely great talking with you again. Love our conversations. We've, being here at SUMA again this year is fantastic. I like to, it's a good place where you don't have to travel to individual communities. You got every community in one place, and they can bring their concerns or their questions to you directly without having to travel, long distances to be congregated now in one place. So it's great.
So what are you hearing from members across Saskatchewan? And are they different in different regions that you talk to?
Yeah, I guess the one word of the day is infrastructure. That is, and it's been a constant probably long before my time. I'm sure you've had 10 years of this. I'm still relatively new compared to you. But we've heard loud and clear that infrastructure of all varieties is a key concern for municipalities across Saskatchewan, as it is across Canada, I'm sure. For us, everything from recreational infrastructure, which is something that I have a soft spot in my heart for because of what it does for our kids and the future generations, but also for the not so sexy topic of wastewater and septic treatment and things like that. Those are,
well, it's not sexy, it is important.
It is very important. Yes, that's right. It is very important, but it's not the big flashy buildings and things like that are also very, very necessary, as you point out.
Looking at the provincial government, we just passed a budget. Talking to a lot of delegates myself, they seem happy. Municipal revenue sharing is up. How important is it to have a program like that for municipalities to utilize in any way they see fit?
Chris, I have to say that we as a provincial government take great pride in having that program available for the municipalities in our province. We understood that this was a challenge for them, and that our government, since 2007 has invested $5 billion to municipalities in this province within the jurisdiction of Saskatchewan, and we take great pride in that. We understand that there's more work to be done in other areas, and that's where we look to collaborate with our federal counterparts alongside our municipal counterparts to ensure that we're stretching that tax dollar. There is only one taxpayer. And when we utilize that money, we want to do it in the most effective way possible, and that's by combining all levels of government, right from municipal to federal, including us as the province. So we want to make sure we're there and that we're providing a value for our municipalities in that way.
Now, as MuniCast is the voice of urban municipalities who speak directly about urban issues, how can a mayor, a councillor, a CAO get in contact with your office? How can they reach out to ask you questions or even potentially try to advocate to you on their issues of importance? Because while it's great to do it here at the SUMA Convention, 3 days, you're one man. I can imagine you can't get to 400 municipalities and have conversations with them.
You know, I try to make an effort, and I've said this before, that I have an open door policy when it comes to ideas. If someone has an idea that they want to float through our office to see if it would work, we weigh it on its merits and to see if it would function in a way that benefits, you know, the people of our province and including the individual municipality that maybe bring it forward. So those are the types of things that I like to do as a standard practice to ensure that the voices of the province when it comes to municipalities can come to the Minister of Government Relations and provide their direct feedback to me. And most of those happen just through contacting the Minister's office, and we try to accommodate meetings when and where we can.
The running joke that I hear from every municipal affairs or government relations minister, you are the minister of everything because you are the one stop for a lot of municipal issues.
Right.
So how important is it for your entire cabinet to work hand in hand with municipalities right now? And are you seeing that?
It's vitally important, Chris. I mean, we've got, you know, a significant contingent of our municipalities, you know, is facing challenges when it comes to the infrastructure problems that come with, you know, congregated living in urban centers, we'll say. Specifically because we're at the SUMA event, we'll talk about this today. But our cabinet takes it very seriously. We try to work in a way that's going to benefit broadly the municipalities in our province. That's something that we take to heart. Obviously, when we were talking about our budget this year, we faced some challenging times when it came to parsing through the conversations around budget. And when it came to municipal revenue sharing, I mean, nearly $400 million would go a long way to stave off some of the provincial debt. But it wasn't even a conversation. It was a non-starter for us. We understood how important that funding is for municipalities, and we made sure that we carried that through, and we will carry that through.
Now, I know you're a busy man, so I don't want to take up much of your time. So I have two last questions. My last question, before the last question, is we heard yesterday about regional collaboration, how it's important for municipalities. When you look at municipal priorities, do you look at it as a regional issue or as an individual issue?
We always look, whenever the ministry is reviewing applications for funding, the regionality of that project is always a key pillar in the review. We want to make sure that it's benefiting the most people. So we ensure that, you know, if a large urban is supporting, you know, 6, 7, 8, a dozen communities surrounding it, that we give fair consideration to that. We want to make sure that those large urban infrastructure projects also benefit some of the other areas around it. So that's where we try to weigh that in all of this. The formula is very complex. If we had a whiteboard, I could write it out here for you. But
please don't.
Okay.
I'd get lost, and you do not want the host to get lost on an interview.
It's a significant component is weighing all of those things when we look to approve projects.
So my final question, as I said, what's your message to municipal leaders as they are about to head home and listening to this after the SUMA Convention?
You know, and I've said this last year, I think, but I want to express my sincere appreciation for anyone who is serving in municipal government or serving in a volunteer capacity in their community. How important that work is and how much it is appreciated. You know, you may not hear it all the time. I mean, when I was Reeve of an RM before running in provincial politics, you sure didn't hear from the positive side all the time, but you sure heard from the negative side. But take heart in the fact that there are people out there who do appreciate what you're doing. And the provincial government appreciates you and what you're doing, and we look forward to continuing collaborating with you in the years to come.
From the smallest villages to the largest cities, every day your urban municipality supports you. The water that travels from tap to sewer, the emergency services that keep you safe, the parks, libraries, and rinks that you enjoy, our cities, towns, villages, resort villages, and northern municipalities are urban hubs bringing people together. We are urban. Celebrate your municipality as part of the urban family.
Up next is our interview with Saskatchewan NDP leader and leader of the official opposition, Carla Beck. Carla, thank you so much for sitting down with us here in beautiful Regina at the 121st SUMA Convention. What's your message to municipal leaders today?
You know, one of the things that I talked about today was the importance of collaboration. I think we all know that we are facing in this province a lot of challenges. You think of cost of living, healthcare, community safety, generating power, all of those things, huge, huge issues. And the decisions that we make, whether across the pond here in Regina, at the legislature, whether in Ottawa, world events that are out of our control, those issues, those decisions impact all of us, but especially they fall on the table of municipal leaders who often haven't had the input and often don't have the resources that they need to respond. What we talked about today was there being a different path. Using a quote from the astronaut Jeremy Hansen about the importance of working together to actually deliver the things that I think we all want for people in our communities, the importance of collaboration, something that you have to do at a municipal table. I've never sat on council, but I was a school board trustee. And you know, there was no way around the need to work together to get things done at those tables. I think there's a lesson that we could all learn as politicians about that collaboration.
One of the big issues that I'm hearing about, and I'd love to hear your opinion, whether it be a mayor of a big city like Regina or Saskatoon or a small community of Kyle, I'm hearing infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'm hearing money. Municipalities are being asked to rely on property taxes a lot more, and government funding is not keeping pace according to the mayors and councillors that I'm talking to. As you're here at the convention, are you hearing same sentiments, or are there things that you're hearing that are unique to certain individual municipalities?
Well, I think I know that municipalities, and I might get the ratio wrong, but they have access to about 10% of the tax base, but are responsible for over 60, maybe 70% of the infrastructure.
Gerald Elbers from Lloydminster is
okay,
singing your praises right now.
I'm sure Gerald has that number down. You know, this was an issue before the pandemic. We all know what has happened with the price of gas, the price of building materials. Something I'm hearing about compliance with building codes, federal building codes. That has all meant that ratio, that number is probably higher. And those costs are falling on councils that are doing their best to provide those services, sometimes in buildings that are very old. I know the rink where I'm from is one of the oldest rinks in the province. Those old barns take a lot of money to heat, to do repairs on. But those are services that are crucial to the functioning of those communities, let alone the basics like drinking water, lagoons, water treatment. The cost has gone up and up and up. And these municipalities are without the tools, without the resources to keep up with the repairs, let alone building new infrastructure. So that is a huge issue that we're hearing right across the province, no matter how large or small the municipality.
One of the big things that I took away from your speech is, and it's true, you're the leader of the official opposition, so you were there to hold the government to account. Now, mayors can reach out to your office, I can imagine. They can reach out to Erica Ritchie, the government relations shadow minister. But how can mayors and councillors work in conjunction with the Saskatchewan NDP to raise their concerns that they're not feeling are being heard by this government?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do that. One of the ways, as you mentioned, we're publicly available, our phone numbers and our emails. Some days you notice that more than others. But we're also out right across this province all the time. If I always say, come in and meet with us, absolutely, we'd love you to do that. Better yet, invite us out to your community. There's something really important, I think, for leaders to see when you're talking about an issue. If you can walk around the hospital where those concerns are happening, or you can see the rink that needs the new roof. I think that's really important that we're available to go out to communities, and certainly I've got a great team that not only will do that, they love to do that. They're on the highway a lot.
Looking at the convention as a whole, and as people are about to head back to their own individual communities, what's the message you want them to take away from what you're doing in Regina for the betterment of Saskatchewan?
Well, I said this today in the address, and it's something I hear back. For a long time, the numbers were such in the legislature that whether there were concerns or not with what was happening, people didn't feel like they had a choice, that there wasn't a voice for them. There is a choice now. And I think as we move more towards the next election, first out of the gate in a substantial way was our grid and growth plan. We're going to present people with a clear choice. As I said, the decisions we make now in the next number of years are not only going to impact us, they are going to impact this province for generations. We want people to have that choice, to know that there is an alternative, and that we're a team that approaches those problems and those challenges in a way that is collaborative, that works with all levels of government, including municipal government, that is willing to put our plan on the table, have people kick the tires on it, provide input. And I don't take that as criticism. I take that as a way to make that plan stronger. And I think that is a marked shift from what we're seeing with many decisions in the province right now, with decisions at other levels of government where that input isn't necessarily asked for, and where criticism isn't necessarily welcome.
Carla, thank you so much for sitting down for season 10 of Muni-Cast. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, wonderful to be here with you. Thank you.
Well, that's the stop for today. If you've been riding along with us this whole episode, thank you for sticking around. Whether you're listening on a commute, doing work, or walking the dog, or just letting the conversation run in the background, it means a lot that you've spent this time with us today. MuniCast is brought to you by the Saskatchewan's Urban Municipality Association, the voice of urban Saskatchewan. So wherever you're headed next, tonight, tomorrow, or sometime down the road, remember that curiosity is a pretty good compass to go by. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of MuniCast. Until next time, take care of yourself, and we'll see you down on Main Street.